Hi, my name is Omirr, and I wanted to make a guide for Shadowpriests that are PvEing in patch 4.0.6. Let's start with the talents. This is the regular talents or shadow spec as I see it. There's 2 points that can basically be argued about, which is 1 point that I've put in Psychic Horror and 1 point in Mental Agility. Aside from those 2 points, most Shadow Priests will agree on every other point and the talent tree. I've put one in Mental Agility as the reduction mana cost on instant spells is quite important. You will find yourself running out of mana on some fights like Cho'Gall, and this talent will prevent you from running out a little bit faster. Psychic Horror is useful in random heroics as it can tremble something in place and disarm it as well. I find that really useful, more useful than 1 point in Psychic Scream or Phantasm would be. Okay, spells. I use an add-on called MF-Clip to track the 5 most important spells for a Shadow Priest. Vampiric Touch, Devouring Plague and Shadow Word Pain are all dots. Mind Blast is a spell we will try to use on cooldown, and Mind Flay is our default channeling spell. What you want to do is you want to try and keep all of your dots running. You want to make sure that they are at the target all times and that they are never going to fall off. So you want to cast and recast them before they have a chance of falling off. Like my Devouring Plague is about to fall off, and I'm going to make sure that it doesn't. So before it has the chance, I recasted it, and the same with Vampiric Touch, which I'm going to be late now. Okay, let's try that again in about 10 seconds. Vampiric Touch has a cast time, so remember that when you want to make sure that it doesn't fall off, you have to start casting it early. But Devouring Plague, however, that's an instant spell and you can cast it just as at the right time. There you go. That was a lot better. Okay, the rest you want to fill in with Mind Flays, as Mind Flay will refresh your Shadow Word Pain, so you don't have to worry about your pain. And then you want to use Mind Blast. I'm going to put in Mind Blast in the rotation now. You basically want to always Mind Blast whenever you have a Shadow Orb up, as Mind Blast plus a Shadow Orb equals Empowered Shadow, which is a damage buff to all of your dots. However, shadowpriest.com has calculated that Mind Blast, that waiting with Mind Blast, is a damage loss. So you do not want to wait with casting Mind Blast until you have a Shadow Orb. You just want to cast it every time it comes off cooldown, unless of course it's been a while since you had the Empowered Shadow buff, because that will be a too big DPS loss. And I think that's about it for the regular rotation as it is. You have Dark Evangelism going as long as you're Mind Flaying, which is 10% of your damage, damage boosted by dots. When you are going to use Archangel, also known as Dark Wings, this will consume these stacks, and you will get some extra damage buff for your Mind Flay, Mind Spike, Mind Blast, and Shadow Word Death, and also you will also restore a portion of your mana, really important. But it also means that your stack will be gone, so you want to use Mind Flay twice right after the Archangel. Shadow Word Fiend is another cooldown that you want to use. Basically, you want to use it on cooldown, as not only does it give a ton of mana back, but it also does a ton of damage. You will see this when I'm using it later in the rotation. It's gonna be a huge DPS gain, so use it on cooldown always. The cooldown is shortened each time you crit with Mind Flay, so that's why you prefer to be Mind Flaying when you're not doing anything else, so that the cooldown on Shadow Fiend is shortened. Other cooldowns you can use is Dispersion. You want to disperse basically when you have to take damage, or when you are running for a long period and you're not going to do anything else soonish. But you're not gonna use it for mana that often. Hymn of Hope you will be using for mana, but not for your mana. You will be using that for your healer's mana, because it will restore to anyone that is low on mana, which will not usually be you. If you can, time it with other priests in the raid so that you get some extra benefit. Okay, let's start a full rotation right now. I'm gonna start with Shadow Fiend, Vampiric Touch, Devouring Plague, Shadow Word Pain, then Mind Flay twice to get my stacks going. I'm gonna first use Mind Blast, then Archangel, and then twice Mind Flay again. And by then I should have enough time to refresh my Vampiric Touch in time. There we go. Use Mind Blast on cooldown even though I didn't have a Shadow Orb. I will have lost some of the powered shadow buff for a second there, but it's okay. Mind Flaying, using Mind Blast again. Oh no, I did get an orb. You see that I have the empowered shadow buff reset at the duration. This is by default giving me about 20%, 27% increase on damage for dots. I have a trinket, Terralian's Mirror, that will increase the damage when I use Mind Blast with an orb, when it procs. You should, if you have this trinket, you should try to aim for that. As soon as the trinket procs, do a Mind Blast with a Shadow Orb, and try to do the Mind Blast with a Shadow Orb again before the trinket proc ends, so that you have the maximum duration of an empowered shadow, which is buffed by the trinket. Let's hope that the trinket will proc soon, so that I can show you how this works. So I have a small lag spike there. Yeah, there the trinket procced. So I'm going to use Mind Blast with Shadow Orbs now, and this has increased my empowered shadows to 42%. And what I want to do is I want to keep waiting with my Mind Blast until right now, and there I have it, 42% for 12 seconds more. That is quite a DPS gain, and as you can see I'm now hitting about 15k DPS on a target dummy. That is actually more than the previous recording I tried for this guide. I had only 14k DPS then. So that is, I think, all I can tell you about how to rotate your spells. I didn't tell you anything about the glyphs, so I'll do that now. The glyphs are the default Glyph of Shadow Word Death, Glyph of Mind Flay, Glyph of Shadow Word Pain. Major glyphs I use Psychic Scream Glyph for Cho'Gall so that people are feared in place and not running all over the place. Glyph of Fate, use it on, so that I can use Fate more often if I have to. This happens to me quite often in random heroics or sometimes even in raids. And Glyph of Dispel Magic. This will make your Dispel Magic now heal yourself. So now I can run and heal myself for 3.5k for a low mana cost, or just help out with dispelling and healing at the same time. There's other choices if you want to, like some people use Spirit Tap or Inner Fire or Psychic Horror. It's up to you. It's basically a choice. The minor glyphs aren't much of a choice. Levitate, Fortitude, Shadow Fiend. And lastly, I can say something about gear. You want to go for the 4-set bonus, as any damage will help. Every bit of damage helps. Other than that, you want to go for, like, this is the ideal piece for a Shadow Priest. You have tons of intellect, you have socket bonuses that you can fill with intellect gems, you have spirit, which is basically hit rating for Shadow Priests, and you have haste. That is the ideal gear piece for a Shadow Priest. Less ideal are pieces that have critical strike or mastery on it, or no spirit at all, but they are still good as long as they have haste on it. Basically, you want to prioritize haste rating on all of your gear, um, but not above intellect, of course. Intellect is the best DPS stat for every caster, so go by item level first, then try to get pieces that have haste, and then if they don't have haste, or if they have haste but no spirit or hit, you can get mastery pieces or critical strike pieces, but then reforge some of the stats to what you want. Basically, in this case, I have to reforge some of the critical strike to spirit, so that I can get more haste on some other pieces. You want to get as close to the hit cap as you can. Shadowpriest.com says that the closer you get to the hit, the less important hit is, but I find that you want to never miss any of your spells, or none of your damage. So try to get as close as you can to the hit cap with reforging. Do not go over it. It's a waste of DPS or stats if you go over it. And then put the rest in haste, which as you see is now 26% for me already. You can stack it up till 31.25 at least. That is where your Devouring Plague gains another tick, and that's probably what you want to aim for in this tier of content if you're raiding heroic bosses. And Critical Strike and Mastery are basically whatever you want to. In this case, they're about the same. I don't like Mastery that much, as you don't always get a Shadow Orb to take advantage of it. But Critical Strike is just as random, so it's whatever you prefer. They are about the same value for DPS. You won't change 100 or 200 DPS just by going all crit or going all mastery at this point. Don't forget your media gem, which is 3% increased critical strike damage and some intellect bonus. This is the best media gem. And that's it, I think. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.